Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on musician Tony Kamel. I talked to Tony about expecting a second kid in 2026, life as a musician, having a painting business, mental health, and activities he likes to do with his daughter. A big part of this conversation was talking about the stress and anxiety of figuring out how to make sure your wife feels supported, but also you're financially secure and trying to be present for your family. Tony was really honest about the tension of wanting to get out on the road and play shows, but also not miss any moment with his kids. And I really respect and appreciate his honesty in this conversation. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. It's fun to talk to creative dads about their life. Because, yeah, there's that moment of like you're closing the door to go write a song or go try to see what creatively you have in you. But also behind that door, you know, is your wife dealing with a screaming kid. And you're just like, peace, I'll see you later. And it's not easy to switch modes or whatever you want to call it.
No, it's really not. And I've gotten a little bit better at it, but it's still, there's like I have to like do some breathing or something and just sort of switch my head or my mindset, if you will, because I don't know, I have a hard time putting it into words, you know, and I'm still figuring it out. It's definitely a thing.
It is. And I think even if like parent or not a parent, I still remember my like first job out of college was like very data entry heavy. So I'd be doing like one side of the brain, then I'd get home and I'm like a creative person. So I'd be like, okay, now create. And I'm like, I've got all my inertia going in this direction. And I'm expecting myself to hit the brakes hard and then switch and be inspired. And I'm like, I think you can learn to practice. You can learn a rhythm in which you can get there and center yourself beforehand. But like, it takes a freaking lot of work. And some days you can do it. And some days it's like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing today.
Yeah, it's true. In my case specifically, my wife is pregnant. She's due in February with a boy. We have a little girl, a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, I mean, just with rising costs of everything and just not like doing that well on the road, I don't travel. I'm trying not to travel as much as I used to. And my wife and I started a small home painting business.
Yeah.
House painting business. And that really, really threw me for a loop where I was doing something totally different. It was basically, and it wasn't even creative in the sense that I was doing any painting. I'm actually the salesman. I go try to sell paint jobs, which I frankly don't like sales. I don't think anybody does.
No.
And I'm learning that part of my brain, as far as selling paint jobs, like didn't even exist really. So that switch up, because part of being a parent is maybe one of the most important things about being a parent is providing. And the musical side of what I do just hasn't been enough anymore. Everything's more expensive. Being on the road is more expensive. Being on the road is highly disruptive to my family. So when I do go on the road, and I'm not quitting the road, I'm just going to go for weekends, short, quick weekends, and I'm going to fly as much as I can. So, because I still want to do this thing, but that switch up. So now there's 3 things in my head. It's like, okay, I've got this company that I want to get, I'm not trying to make a multi-billion-dollar company here. I just want to do a handful of paint jobs a month, but that's a lot of work. And it's a whole different part of my brain. And especially in the beginning, and even now, really hard for me to be like, I don't know, is this a good idea? It's pulling away from my creativity. It's making me stressed out and confused creatively, mentally. And then it felt like as a parent, I just was short and my patience level was lower. So that for me personally, like that was an even more confusing thing that I'm still figuring out. It's gotten better, but I'm still figuring it out.
No, because like if you, as a musician, like, how do you prep for your next gig? You practice, you make sure you know the songs, so you know how you want to perform them, all that. When it comes to doing sales stuff, it's like, how do I get someone to say yes to something I'm offering? And that's just not even vaguely the same thing. And like, I've done both sides where I've helped sell stuff and then I've helped fulfill it. And yeah, those are both also different brains. So you're selling a product of a paint
Yeah.
job. And then you're like, well, when we do the paint job, like, do we do like, I want to make sure we're also doing it well. So there's just so much for you to care about. And then you come home and do you have is your first kid a daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little girl.
and then your daughter's like, "Play with me," and you're like, "I haven't been in a playful mindset for like
Right.
3 days." Like it's a lot of code switching, whatever word you want to use for it, and it is extremely difficult to feel like you've done any of it correctly.
Yeah, it's masking for me sometimes where
Mhm.
I'm like almost pretending like I'm engaged, and that's not good either. And it's like almost like I'm pretending like I'm present, but in my
Yeah,
head I'm like, God dang it. Like, and frankly, like, not to like toot my own horn or whatever, but the type of music that I play, it's hard. It's
yeah,
just really hard. It requires a lot of practice. And you mentioned Jed Hughes. Jed's Australian. I'm in a duo and good friends with a guy named Kim Warner. He and Jed are old friends as well. He's
cool.
Australian too. They're both Australian musicians. And Kim is a very accomplished and one of the best mandolin players in the world. And his level of playing is way high. And for that and for the bluegrass gigs I do, and then even my solo shows, like I have to be practiced and
You have to be
ready.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, so then it's like, dang, I haven't practiced that. I'm going in the studio. It's really hard.
yeah,
Or I got this solo gig coming up. Everyone's going to be hanging on every word. I got to make sure the
yeah,
show flows and my
yeah,
stories are feeling good and
yeah,
stuff. It's like, oh, but also I have to go do an estimate for a paint job. And it's like, I'm still learning how to be like, I need to be here with her
yeah.
and also make sure my wife's not doing everything,
Yep.
you know, and like make sure that she's not taking on the entire mental load, which she is.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the default and try to help relieve some of that for her. And I'm not good at that either.
Nope.
So it's been a mess. It's really serendipitous that this podcast is happening today because a lot of things have come crashing
Yeah,
together
yeah,
just
yeah.
this week. I mean, I got home and I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you talk. I
Dude,
promise.
no, no.
But I
Honestly,
got
man,
yeah,
you're good.
I went on the road this weekend and it was like it's really gonna be my last tour for a long time because
Yeah,
the holidays are coming up and that's a slow time and the baby will be here in February. So, really basically I won't leave the state again until, at the earliest, I'd say late March, early April, or I'm sorry, mid-April, late April, probably.
yeah,
So, and I will do regional gigs and stuff. And so there's this weird little, like, I'm sad about it because
yeah,
I like playing music for people, but also like, I was gone for almost a whole week
yeah,
and you know, even my daughter is adjusting to me being home and her behavioral patterns,
yeah.
even just after like 6 days. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's funny that this is coming up now. It was very appropriate.
No, it's true. I think anytime I've ever like played music, I think like from what I can tell with musicians that are parents, there's this constant battle of playing music like makes you feel alive. And it's almost like this is why I'm like it can make you feel like it's your purpose, right? It's like I'm here, I've been able to do this, I've been able to perform these songs, people connect with it, I connect with them. That's energizing. That's amazing whenever that happens. And then to be like, but then on the other side of that, is you get home and yeah, there are the like, your daughter hasn't seen you in a week. So she has to
Yeah.
get used to being around you. You have to be used to being around her. And you're like, is that high I felt from playing on stage worth this week of catch up? And I feel like that's the tension of like all musicians that have families is, oh, I really like this. I really like doing this. But also if it causes my daughter to regress every single time I go on tour, why the hell am I going on tour? Like, what am I doing?
Right. Yeah. And it's hard whenever your creative job of being a musician, I think it's so deeply tied to to who we are.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I do this thing and I like my job fine or even I love my job, but this is a very it's real emotional. It's attached to our emotions and our
Hmm.
and who we are as people and our being and our you know existence. It's hard to
Yeah.
let go of, which is why I think a lot of us kind of never stop doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe when we should. Maybe sometimes I feel like I should, but it's like I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest. I don't want to, but it doesn't make a lot of sense on the road right now. And I'm just in one of those phases where it's like, I don't feel like this is working. And
Hmm.
even though I know and feel confident in the stuff I've made, and I feel like the music is good and
Yeah.
the recordings are good and the show is really good, but and I was lucky enough to come home with a decent amount of money on
Yeah.
this tour, but it's also like it's not life changing money by any means.
No, and you're also dealing with the fact that like, how does a musician make money? Is I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much just going on tour and selling merch. Like that's where people find your like the stuff they can actually purchase because I know Spotify isn't paying you anything. So like it's you if you want to make a living at it, you have to then find the revenue streams that actually will pay you money to do this. And that's not what it used to be like a decade.
I think that the road works for fairly well for solo artists like
Yeah.
myself. I won't go on the road with a band
Oh, okay.
basically
Yeah.
ever unless it's a festival or a concert series or a private gig or something. Unless you have a very very solid anchor date
Yeah.
that is insistent on me bringing a band and they're going to give us enough money to where I can pay my guys
Hmm.
very well to be there because
Yeah.
the musicians I like to hire are a little bit, they've been around the block. They're professionals. They're older
Yeah.
guys that they don't want to hop on a plane or in a van and go somewhere unless they know they're going to come home with money. They're not in their 20s or, they're not
Hmm.
in their 20s
Yeah.
uh, and they're the best around. So they
Yeah.
require, and they should demand a lot of money. And those are the kind of guys I want to play with. And so, yeah, but I do think if you're a solo artist, which is most of my touring, if not all of it, is nowadays, that can still be profitable if you're doing some house concerts and some ticketed gigs in places where you think you can get a few people out.
Yeah. Where are you located in the country? Like which region are you in?
I'm in the Austin area. I'm in Dripping Springs specifically, is where my family and I live. But I am from Houston, so that's a good ticket for me.
Yeah.
And Dallas isn't great, but I can go up that way. But there's a lot of really pretty little towns in the hill country, which is in central Texas. It's hilly and pretty, and
Yeah.
there's some little towns where you can do some gigs throughout there. There's a lot of bluegrass gigs around Austin.
Hmm.
Every Monday night at Radio Coffee Beer is a really fun thing if you're in the area. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. And then because Austin is there's just a lot of stuff that goes on corporate wise, like a lot of
Yeah.
conventions, a lot of meetings, a
Hmm.
lot of events. So I'd say 60 or 70% of my music income comes from private gigs, maybe even more.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I like that. I like
Yeah.
private gigs a lot because it feels like you're working and it feels like there's no pressure on getting people out and tickets and things. And you just got to do your job and do it well. And if my job is to play music basically for myself at those gigs, because most people are doing networking and stuff,
Yeah.
I can do that all day long,
Yeah.
kind of what I live for. So a lot of that stuff. And you can make a decent living, especially if you're a sideman, which I'm not in Austin, playing sideman gigs every night. And that's one of the reasons why they call it the Velvet Rut, because it's
Okay.
kind of nice and you kind of get stuck here. I don't think it's a rut. I think it's a good thing. It's a nice place to live. A lot
Yeah.
different than it used to be, but I still really love it.
Hmm.
And not, leaving your family and making decent money playing music isn't a bad deal.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Do you? Are you close? Where's like North Texas University at? That's in Denton, right?
That's in Denton. That's a good 4 hours from where I
Okay.
live.
Cool. Because I feel like normally if you can find like a good college town, which I know Austin has a college, Denton definitely has a college. I feel like those places you have all like the people in their 20s who are like, I want to go out and see live music tonight on a Tuesday night, and then they'll
Right.
show up to shows. But like, yeah, man, I'm 38. Like to get me to go out to a show on a Wednesday is like I've listened to this band for 20 years. I know everything. I
Right.
have a criteria list in which it has to be worth it for me to leave my family for a night.
Yeah, you might be right. I can't quite put my finger on this system anymore, but I
No,
do
yeah,
think, yeah, I do think there's a way to do it still if you're a solo artist. I feel like then really, if you can manage, by the way, this is not easy, but if you can manage to get 40 or 50 people out, or even 30 or 40 people out, you'll end up with decent money every night. It's
yeah,
not life-changing money, but it's still, it can work financially because you're only, and if you don't, if you're just you know, by yourself, you only need one hotel room or,
Yeah.
you only need one of everything. And it only gets split one way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That yeah, I think that's also like a sign of maturity as like or how you probably treat this as like a career is you're like, hey, if I can do this by myself and I can make some money on it, that's awesome. As opposed to like I'm sure you'd love to play like a venue that has 3,000 people, play for as many people as possible. It's like, hey, you know what? If I'm out here playing to people and I'm making some money off this and I'm having fun, then
Yeah.
that's not a bad life.
No, some people would say it's the dying embers of a once raging fire of a career, but I think it's good. And I think that I don't like that perspective, but it's sometimes, your intrusive thoughts take over and you
Yes.
feel that way. But I try to be thankful and have a lot of gratitude and understand that I'm lucky if anybody
Yeah.
comes and I am still going to do it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of how I am and what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's markets where I can pull out several hundred people
Yeah.
and I'm lucky that that exists at all. And
Hmm.
I feel fortunate to be able to do any version of it.
Yeah, of course. So you said you're going to have a second kid in February, right?
Mhm.
How do you feel about going from one to two? How's your mental space with all that? Besides making sure that like you can financially provide and all that stuff.
Man, it's so weird. It's so weird. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
It's like, I know it's happening because my house is full of shit that for this kid, hopefully I'm allowed to cuss. I won't do
you're
that
good.
again.
You're good, man. You're good. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And, my wife is clearly pregnant.
yeah,
I can feel the baby move inside her. I've been to all the ultrasounds, but it's like, it doesn't, it almost hasn't, I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around it for so many reasons. I have a girl. I kind of wanted another girl because I love being a girl dad
hmm
and it's a boy and that's
yeah,
great. So I'm rethinking those types of things and rethinking our little house, and
yeah,
how we're going to fit. There's all kinds of things in my head and I'm pretty good at both ignoring those things and dealing with them.
yeah,
But I know my wife is like, she's like, she's got a lot going on up there right now. And
yeah,
I just today have been trying to figure out how I can be better about relieving some of that from her. But it's been a lot. I don't know. It's hard. I can't
yeah. I
even
got you.
really,
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah,
yeah, but I can't put it into words. But the only thing I can say is that I'm definitely excited.
yeah.
It's almost like I can't really even quantify it until it happens.
Yeah. For your first kid, when did it feel real that you were having a kid? Because I agree. Like until like my wife had her first contract, I have three kids. And until like she started having contractions, I was like, oh God, this is real. And I was like, Devin, she's
Yeah,
been pregnant for like 8, like, this is coming. Like, but until like the process of labor and delivery started, I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. I don't have to focus on this yet. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And then, yeah. So when did it start to feel real for you for your first kid?
man, I don't remember. I don't remember anything. I, I, uh, I think there was a couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a miscarriage first, which was
Okay.
rough, and then
Yes.
so there was whenever it happened, and it got to a point where it was likely everything was going to be fine.
Hmm.
There was definitely some stuff going on that made it feel really real. Then, oddly enough, like when the baby was here, everything felt supernatural. It was all obviously very difficult.
Hmm.
The lack of sleep, in particular, was hard to adjust to, and I haven't really slept since then. Whatever. This next time, I think we'll be okay, or at least I know what to expect. But,
Yeah.
the funny thing is, one thing I will say, it's like, I didn't feel and I was there, like, after that kid was around, like, I was stay-at-home dad for a while, so I
Okay.
bonded really tightly with my daughter, but in a strange way, like, it wasn't until, like, maybe 6 or 8 or even 9 or 10 months in where it felt like I could kinda get a feel for her personality at all,
Hmm.
so and you kinda start to meet your kid for real around then or a year in or so, and, uh, um, then there was a point around there where I kinda realized, like, even as she gets more self-sufficient, I'm actually gonna have to be around more
Hmm.
because of their concepts of time and, uh and things like that, you know. So there was a lot of different phases. There was this one realization I had about a year in where it's like, it's not going to get easier.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
was hard.
yeah.
And there was a little phase after the beginning that was like pretty easy where she was on a schedule and
Mhm.
she was sleeping at the same times for the same amounts and sleeping through the night. And we could just kind of wheel her into a restaurant and she would just chill. And then I kind of realized like, well, this isn't going to get easier. It's going to get harder for me to be gone. So, uh, as to relating it to me as a traveling musician, that's when it kind of hit me like, okay, things are going to be different. Like it's going to be a lot different, and that's okay. What they don't tell you is that when you don't have kids and you're a traveling musician, at least in my opinion, is that being at home with your family is better.
Mhm.
It's like that's what I'd rather be doing. I
Yep.
don't give a shit if I was playing for thousands or tens of thousands of people and they
Yeah.
were all there to see me. I can pretty effectively and honestly say, even then, I would rather be home for my family, even if all my dreams in the music industry were to come true.
Yeah.
But then I would be like, if there was someone put those two things in front of me, I'd rather be in that moment, like I'd rather be at home.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure also since you've done music, like I also know people who did it for a full career that didn't prioritize their family. So they have like I know people who like did front of house and stuff like that. And like they would work in a instrument and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, missing my daughter's graduation." And you're like, "Why the hell are you here? Like
Yeah.
why the hell does it like sure you got a paycheck, sure you got a gig, but like your kid only graduates high school, 8th grade, whatever once. What are you doing with your life?" And I feel like we've now watched how that affects the kids and more of us are like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that to my kid." Like that's not the value that I have for any of this.
Yeah. And I don't want to be like, I have some friends who are very good parents
Mhm.
that are on the road and they're doing the best they can. And I've had really a good and honest conversations with them about the difficulties around it. But you know, for me, and they're not bad people. They're not bad parents, and their kids are great, and they have great spouses, and they work hard as a family to make it all happen. But for me personally, uh, I'm really as much of a transition as I'm feeling right now, where it's really more of a mental transition.
Mhm.
I don't plan on not doing. I haven't been traveling that much, really. It's just a
Yeah.
few short tours a year, and I still want to do that. But it's more of like a mental transition around it. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be gone.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling the how difficult it is on my daughter. Like, you know, when you were a kid, a week felt like a really long time, you know.
It's an eternity.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and now it feels like a day. It's so fast. I felt like I that this tour went by like that, but I think
Yeah.
in my kid's head, it felt pretty long.
Yeah. I think when you start having kids, like opportunity costs just feel so different. So it's like, okay, cool. I might be able to go out on tour for 8 days in a row or something like that. That's a cool opportunity. My daughter might not remember how to act around me at the end of those 8 days. Oh, that's not a good opportunity. I don't like that opportunity. That's which one is your value system shifts so differently. And like I think you have to wear so many hats whenever you're a dad or a parent. They are just like, wait, which hat was I supposed? Did I wear it? Did I put the correct hat on today? Because I don't even freaking
Yeah.
know some days.
Yeah, and also, like, I'm on a small indie label that I love, Blue
Yeah,
Corn Records, and the owner of the label is somebody who I care about. He's a friend, you know, and he invested a lot of money and
yeah.
the label invested a lot of money in me, and I feel a strong and sensible and legitimate obligation to them to try and get my name out as much as I can.
Yep.
And I still believe that, like, things could grow in my
Mhm,
musical world, and I still believe they will grow, and my music career will grow. So, like, if something crazy were to happen and they were like, you know, some kind of weird viral moment where
yeah,
there were all of a sudden I was very in demand, you know, I would just have to figure all that out
mhm,
and see what it would look like and try to make it as sustainable and as easy on my family and me as possible, while also doing what I feel obligated to do for the people that believed in my career, you
mhm,
know?
yep,
So,
and there's some reality of, like, yeah, if your oldest daughter is f or if your daughter is 4 and you're about to have a son, like, you're also in a phase of life where, like, your physical presence matters a ton. Not that there's a time when it doesn't, but like I would not feel good leaving my wife at home with a 4-year-old and a newborn. Every part of me would be like, oh, I can't, that's not sustainable. That makes me feel like I'm
Yeah.
being an awful person. I can't do that to them.
Yeah. Even with help, even if there's like a
Yeah,
nanny or, I have a really wonderful mother-in-law. Thank God.
that's great.
She's very, very, she's wonderful. But, it's important that I'm around.
Yeah. Which also though, hell yeah, like it's confusing to me whenever people have kids and they're like, "Oh, do they want me around?" And I'm like, "Why'd you have the kid then if you didn't want to be
Yeah.
around?" That's a whole different discussion of shame and guilt that I want to add to people's lives. I wish someone would have told me whenever I had my first kid that like the first 4 months you're connecting with the kid, but around like month 6 or so, like the way you connect with them feels so different and so much better. Because the first like 4 months I feel like are literally just like, all right, this keep you alive, this make sure you're good. And then once they start to move, I feel like you can like play with them and interact with them. Like once they get neck muscles, everything is so drastically different for that kid.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And it's fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
phase of life. I look forward to doing that again. I really do.
Did you ever do like most of my kids, I feel like before they were 6 months old, they would do like the only way they would sleep is if they were on you. So you would do like the contact naps where you'd be like, oh, guess I have to sit here and watch a show and hold a baby. This is awful.
Yeah. That sounds terrible. I can't wait. No, it's, yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. And then you're kind of in survival mode at that
Yeah,
point
you
too,
are.
where it's like no one's going to judge you for doing that by any means. At least no one in my house.
No, not so much. Does your
Yeah.
wife work or does she stay home with the kids?
She works. She works for a
Okay.
company, like a home services company essentially. And it's we're really lucky. She works from home and she has a great group of coworkers and boss that provide a lot of flexibility.
Nice. That's awesome.
It is.
Do you have family? Does your mother-in-law live in town?
Yeah, she lives about 40 minutes from us, and I
Okay.
have a brother just a few miles from us. And my mom's in Houston, which is about 2.5 hours from
Okay.
us or so. So we got yeah, we got family around for sure.
Cool.
We're
That's
really
awesome.
lucky in that regard.
It
It's
is.
one of the biggest parenting hacks there is just have family around.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Nashville for like 18 years before moving out to Denver. I live out in Denver suburbs now. And yeah, whenever we started having kids, we noticed a lot of our friends suddenly picked up and moved back home because they're like, how do you raise kids without family around? Because there are so many moments where it's like, hey, can you just literally, I want to go grocery shopping and I don't want it to take 3 hours. Can you just watch my kid for like 45 minutes?
Yep. 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 It's very helpful. And I'm always down. Like we have also a really strong network of friends here and we help each other out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. I love it.
Good. That's great. What are some things that you like to do with like your daughter, or if like you're around? What's like a game you like to play? Any activity you like to do with her?
I built this really it was fun to build. I built her a playscape myself. I just kind of threw a bunch of
Cool.
stuff
Yeah.
and we put a swing set in a tree and so we like to play out there. She likes to be swung up really high
Yeah.
and she's I haven't put any of this on her, but she can sing pretty
Can
good.
she
Like
really?
yeah, I was surprised. She memorizes lyrics really quickly.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot about Taylor Swift and about that most recently that K-pop.
Demon Hunters? Oh yeah, man.
Yes, thank
It's
you, thank
constant.
you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I have two
yeah,
daughters. Trust me, man. The Taylor Swift and K-pop Demon Hunters life. I don't think there's a light at the end of this tunnel because it's just so constant.
yeah. And I mean, this is literally just since I left for tour and came back. She discovered that, and uh, and I'm enjoying it, And but I've noticed she does like to sing, and so
Yeah.
I'm singing with her, Um, she likes to draw and color, so we'll do that together. We try to avoid TV as much as possible, so we try
Yeah.
to find little uh, stuff to do. We paint
Yeah.
together. That's a lot of fun, and so yeah, yeah. I'm still discovering what our that's changing. So it changes so quickly that the stuff I'm mentioning now is it's almost
Yeah.
like it could be different next week.
Yep. I know whenever we had our second kid, I felt like that mostly just meant me and my oldest became better friends because there'd be so many moments in which my wife needed to nurse the kid, needed to do something with the kid where my second born just didn't want me because they were so young that I was like, cool, well, I'm
Sure.
going to go take our oldest out and we're going to go get a donut. We're going to go to a playground or something. So that's the only real like advice or anything like that for heads up is like, you'll probably have so much more time to spend with your oldest that it's just really fun to think of things you can do to make that time special.
I'm learning that. Yeah, I'm preparing my mind for that as well. When things are crazy dealing with a newborn, I
Hmm.
just need to get the older one out of the house and go do some fun stuff.
Yep. Because I think that's like the question every man has when you have a newborn is like, so what do I do that's actually helpful here? Because I feel like most of the stuff I do I'm not sure if it's helping. And I really want to be helpful, but I don't feel like it is.
I think that my role is going to look completely different than it did the first time,
Yeah.
because I think my role is going to be give me some peace
Yeah.
by getting this other kid out of my face, and I think, and I'm down,
Yeah.
I'm down. It'll be like a second thing, like, because we really did get close. We
Hmm.
really are close because when my wife went back to her normal job, I was spending days at home with her.
Hmm.
Um, I think that, I mean, she is in she goes to daycare part time, and she'll go to daycare a little more
Yeah.
when this happens. But still, I think that'll be my biggest role, and I look forward to that.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think that's like a thing I usually try to give. Yeah. I just try to give dads that heads up is like, if you're having a second kid, you're going to find a lot more ways to bond with your oldest than you realized. And it's going to be super helpful that you do that.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
That's cool. Do you remember when you had your first kid, did it take you much to shift from being on the road to being more stay-at-home dad world? Like, was that much of a transition for you?
Yes and no. My first kid was born in 2021, so
Sure.
the
Different world. Yeah.
pandemic,
Different
yeah,
world. Yep.
it was a whole different thing, and I wasn't really able to get on the road until towards the end of that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did definitely. There was some mindset shift, but to be honest, when opportunities to travel again came up, I couldn't have been more ready to get out of the
Yeah.
house, and play some music. And the trips were short. They're
Yeah.
weekends, and she was still so young to where it was
It
sort of
felt
the
different.
opposite. Yeah, it's like, as opposed to now where I might as well have been gone for a month. Back then, I might as well have been gone for 5 minutes. She was still so young.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the beginning it was a really nice time because
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, I get to, hop on a plane to San Francisco and
Hmm.
play a show in Sebastopol, a show in Santa Cruz, and a show in San Francisco, and then come home. I
That's
was
not
like,
bad.
this, it might as well be vacation.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. I hate to like make it sound bad for other working musician dads where it's not a vacation.
It's
It
not.
is
It's
hard
work.
work.
Yep.
It's work, but it felt like it because, both because the pandemic had kept us home, had been wreaked havoc on my band,
Hmm.
and we broke up right in the middle of the pandemic. And then, to have the opportunity to get back out and play music, everybody in my camp was excited for that.
Yeah. No, I always forget like how different the pandemic looked for musicians and creative types. Cause like, yeah, hey, how do you get people to pay attention to music? Oh, you go play a show in their town. Yeah, so that town doesn't live more than like, that's not you can't do that. So that's a different energy to go from being home with a
Yeah.
newborn and be like, hey, do you want to go play a weekend in California? And you're like, yeah, and you're paying for the plane flights? Yeah, do I sign up now? Like when do I do this?
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, like, I will do that stuff again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want any listener here who either likes my music or is just discovering it to
Yeah.
think that I'm retiring. I'm not. I've made a few recent social posts talking about how, hey, this is my last tour for a while because of this, that,
Yeah.
and the other. And I guess I made it sound like I was stopping,
You're
and
done? Yeah.
yeah, and I did not want that to be. And now I need to have a whole new PR campaign.
Gosh.
And not really, but I'm
No,
gonna.
I got you though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be exhausting to be a musician or creative anymore because, like, you're just trying to let people into your mental space. And, like, realistically, man, like, you shouldn't be on the road for a bit. Like, you should be home nesting, making sure your family's taken care of. And then, like, and 7 months from now, like, if you do a mini tour, something like that, hell yeah. But, like, to expect you to still tour whenever your wife could give birth at any moment, no, you don't
Right.
owe that to me. Oh, take care of yourself and your family. And
Oh
of
yeah.
course, you'll get back
Yeah.
to this whenever it makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not that popular. Like, truthfully, like, I'm not. There's not like I could say, "Hey, I'm retiring," and there'd be a really awesome diehard group of fans that I
Yeah.
love. That would be really sad, but it's a small group. It's not a huge group of people out there. I am very thankful for them, and I
Yes, of
look forward to
course.
playing for all of them again. But it wouldn't be this seismic thing for
It
me to
wouldn't
do
be
that.
front page of like People magazine or
No,
anything.
not even close.
But I also know a lot of musicians like American Aquarium or like the Wild Feathers, where their fan base like loves him and he's very loves them, and they're very much like, oh, thank God, like because the loyalty of that fan base is so meaningful that people connect with what you do. That you're like, oh, I'm not taking that for granted. I'm not taking that lightly. But also,
Never.
I kind of want to be around when my child's born.
Yeah, you have to.
You do,
And what's cool about those smaller fan bases is I hope they feel like they know me a little bit, and
yeah.
I truly feel like they want that for me. They're like,
Hmm.
"Hey, yeah, of course." Like, part of my brand in a weird way, and maybe this isn't good branding, is that I'm a good dad. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want that to be the case. Whether it's good or not for branding or for sexiness or whatever it
yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah,
I don't care. I can only be myself.
yeah.
And that is a big part of who I am now. And I'm happy about
Yeah, pretty much. Or it's like, I wouldn't, if I expect you to quote unquote be a good dad, and then whenever you have a 2 month old newborn at your house to do a full tour, it'd be like, well, that's not the same thing, man. Like,
that. Right.
I would also hope some understanding of like, this dude talks about how much he values fatherhood constantly. He's going to want to be around for his family, or he's a liar.
Right, right. And on the flip side of that, 2 months in, it may be a good thing for my family
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
me
that's true. Yeah,
to go do a 2 or 3-day tour where I leave as late as I need to leave and I'm home as early
yeah,
as I need to, you know what I mean? Where I can come back refreshed and feel it. Because
yeah,
like you said at the beginning of this conversation, the energy you get from that, it's kinda hard to describe. And
yeah,
for us, for people like me who need it and will probably need it until they die,
yeah,
it's an energy. And I'm glad you use that word because it gives you an energy that you kind of need, I think. And maybe it's a selfish thing. I don't know, but it is a thing for me.
yeah,
I love to play music for people. I do everything I do. The time I spend on social media trying to build up my thing, anything I do to nurture my music,
yeah,
my business of music is because I want to play music
yeah.
in a room with people.
Yeah. I
That's
I don't know why it is, but like I also feel like if I do something that is meant to energize me, I have to tell myself it's not selfish. Like if I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go see like I live 20 minutes from Red Rocks. So like, hey, if I want to just go see a show at Red Rocks, like that's awesome. But some part of me is more like, am I abandoning my wife for the night and my family? And they're like, no, you're gone for like 3 hours and we're just going to bed. Like it's fine.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
my first instinct is to be like, if I go and do something that's selfish of me, and it's like, did you come back inspired and like excited about life? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Why would like, don't you think your family's then going to also feed off that energy? But that's like a narrative in my own head I have to constantly rewrite because some part of me assumes selfishness because I want to do something for myself. Your family usually benefits from you being energized about your existence.
I think so too, and I think if you feel like it's selfish, it probably means you're a good person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you acknowledge that, this weekend I'm gonna go back to Nashville because I followed their soccer team a lot, and I'm gonna go watch them play a playoff game. And my wife was like, "Hell
Fun.
yeah, go do that!" And but some part of me is still like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "You're gonna go connect with friends. You're gonna watch a soccer game. You're gonna come back excited. Why would I not want you to go do that?" And I'm like, "Okay, you're right. That's more about my mental gaps or blocks than yours. So I
Yeah,
will trust that you mean this.
it's good to have a good partner, man.
It is, and
Yeah,
I think you probably feel this also. It just makes me not want to mess it up that much more. It just makes me want
for
to
sure.
lead with respect and be like, yeah, how do I help you more? Because you clearly love and respect me. How do I make sure I'm showing that back to you?
Yeah, I agree completely.
I'm going to start wrapping it down, do the 5 questions to end the episode. They're just kind of like fun, easy icebreaker questions. They're not rapid fire. First question is, do you have any backup names for your kids? Like, is there anything you almost named your daughter? You also don't have to reveal the name of your son yet if you don't want to, but do you have anything you almost named?
No, no problem. I don't remember what the alternates were for my daughter. Her name is Stevie and Stevie Lee Camel. And my dad passed away 11 years ago. His name was Steve, so we named her after him.
Okay.
So that one I think came in pretty clearly, pretty early on. If it was going to be a girl, her name was going to be Stevie. I don't remember what the boy's name
Okay.
we had picked out was. This boy, his name's going to be AJ.
Hmm.
My name is Anthony Tony, obviously, Anthony Joseph. And so my grandmother, who I was really close with, and this new record I put out in April is called We're All Gonna Live, blah, blah, blah. There's a song for her on there and it's kind of dedicated to her as a whole on a global level. She used to call me AJ, but she was the only one that did
Okay.
because her husband and my grandfather, his name was Anthony George, and my family called me Anthony. So as a way of distinguishing between the two of us, she
Yeah.
called him AG and me AJ. But she was the only one that did, and I kind of liked it. So, and then my brother, his name is Andrew. And so we're naming the kid Andrew Joseph, but we're going to call him AJ.
That's
So
cool.
it's sort of, it's an homage to my grandmother, my brother, and me in a way. So it's just sort of a family thing.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I honestly, my wife wanted to, she kind of liked the name Leo,
Hmm.
and I wasn't that into it. I can't remember. There was another one we thought about. We settled on AJ and Andrew Joseph for AJ, and I like it.
That's sweet. I think choosing girls' names are like, it's so much more whimsical and cute and fun. I feel like a boy name, you either do like a strong, straightforward name or you do a weird name. It's like there's not a lot of in between
Yeah,
for boy names. You either do like James or Devin, for example.
yeah, sure. Which I like. I like normal names.
Yeah. You have
I think
one.
we're
So
getting a
yeah.
little. Yeah, I have one, and I think it's okay. It doesn't have to be that unique.
We're all just trying to make it easier on the substitute teachers the kids will have growing up. That's really what we're here for.
Truth, truth.
Okay. Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad or like fictional dad?
Oh man, I think Peter Griffin probably from Family Guy. I've always loved that show,
Yeah.
and what's funny is my dad loved that show, which is
Seriously?
funny. Yeah, and you wouldn't think it if you met him because he was really friendly but also he was an attorney and he was fairly serious guy in a lot of ways and he came off as pretty laced up in some instances, I think.
Yeah.
But when that show came out, I was very surprised at how much he loved it. So, but I just thought, for many years now, the show, when it first came out was so, it got canceled twice.
Yeah.
It really pushed the limits of TV, and I kind of have a weird or odd sense of humor, and so I
Yeah.
really loved it. So between Peter Griffin and Homer Simpson,
Yep.
those are two of my favorites.
That's as if your dad was like, I will never be this person, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
laugh because he's hilarious.
it's ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Next question. You might not have one. I know you said you don't do a lot of screen time, but is there any kids show that you hate? Like, what's your least favorite kid show? Like, if your daughter wants to watch it, you're like, please, God, no. I've got like, we can't watch this show anymore, or movie as well.
I mean, I got I don't like Super Kitty.
Yeah, Super Kitties is the worst. Yes,
Yeah, I feel like that offers absolutely nothing
nothing. The
as
music's
far
bad.
as
The
like,
characters are
yeah,
ridiculous. Like, yeah,
there's no educational value. It doesn't always have to be, but there's usually in kid shows they sneak in
yeah.
something, but I don't know. Super Kitty, I don't understand. So yeah, we'll go with Super Kitty, I
I don't.
guess.
My
Honestly, kid shows are good now. Like
They
they
are good
used,
now.
I
They're
think,
good.
yeah, I think when my parents were raising kids, like it was a different deal. I also don't like anything that where the episodes are really short
Yeah.
and there's no arc or a story. I kind
Hmm.
of read something about how that's not doing good things to kids.
It's
It's
not.
like giving them this, uh, it makes them addicts.
Hmm. It does.
So the TV we do watch, and I'm not harping on any parents that are throwing iPads
Of
at their
course.
kids.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
The stuff we do watch, we try to watch movies, and movies
Yeah.
are great because there's a lot of good characters that have positive outcomes in most cases, and there's conflict and problem solving
Yeah.
and an arc in a story that's in most cases nowadays, beautifully written in these some of these Disney movies that she likes, and so I think things like Super Kitty are kind of the antithesis of that. They drive me crazy.
Same. I think like if Yeah, character development matters. I think like I'm trying to avoid my kids having easy dopamine hits because I know how bad it is for me to have the easy dopamine hits and how I'm constantly working against like loving 30-second videos. So like why would I expect my 4-year-old to know how to fend off like I don't know how to do it very well at 38. My 4-year-old just doesn't stand a chance if I let him watch Coco Melon. Like it's just
Oh yeah,
constant.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cocomelon's worse. Yeah,
it
for
is.
sure, for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
because it's like already most of our lives are built around what can I consume and what makes me comfortable. So I'm like, I don't. Let's not do that. Let's stay away from that if we can.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed
Yes.
completely.
Yeah, super cuties. Even the music, like my kids will want to listen to
Yeah,
music sometimes, and I'm like, this music is so over the top, ridiculous. Like Encanto's fantastic. Like I then try to steer them, like, let's do Encanto, let's do Frozen 1 or 2, let's listen to that soundtrack, and they're like,
yeah.
we don't want to, and I'm like, I'm tired of listening to 45-second songs. Can we please have like a story arc? Can we have a bridge? Can we have one bridge in the song? Please, 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 please.
Agree.
Anyway,
Agree.
there's my mini rant for you. Next question. Do you have a replacement curse word? Like when you're around your daughter and you want to say a curse word, do you have one or do you just say the curse word?
I say the curse word, and I'm gonna have to change that because she says them now.
No. Yeah, that's the moment where
Yeah,
you're like, oh man, shit, I can't do this
yeah.
anymore.
But I don't hold back. I don't. I found that, and I've read some. I think there's some anecdotal evidence that kids know when they shouldn't. If they're a good, if they're a fairly well behaved kid, or
Yeah.
even if they curse at home like they won't at school or they
Yeah.
won't in certain settings. I don't really, I think this may have to change, but it doesn't bother me. Cussing doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I like to cuss.
Yeah.
I try to keep it in appropriate settings, but I think I grew up in a house where we couldn't cuss, and I had excellent parents, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was lucky, but there's already too many other things I got to try to avoid. So
I
I'm
got you. Well,
gonna,
also, like,
yeah,
I mean, I still remember being a kid, and if my parents were like, you can't say the F word, I'm like, so the second you're out of earshot, I'm saying the F word as many times as I can.
as
So, like,
loud as I can. Yeah.
as loud as I can. So, like, it's just a word. Just know when to use it and when not to. And know if you say it at school, there will be consequences that I can't really
Hmm.
control. So don't do it there.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
And and then last question is there like a moment of your kid's life you're most excited to like be a part of or have them experience? Like whenever you think your daughter's life, your son's life, you're like, oh man, I can't wait until they get to this point of their life.
Man, that's a good question. And I haven't really asked myself that. And I should, because I'm so worried about the opposite of that. I'm worried
Yeah, yeah.
about having a daughter that's dealing with social media and being a teenager. I'm worried about
Yeah.
having a son that, it might be dealing with bullies or something. I don't know. I worry
Yeah.
about those kind of things. And I'm glad you asked that because I'm trying to be less worried about that, especially as my daughter's getting older and starting
Yeah.
to go to regular school. And I think it's an important thing. I get a lot of intrusive thoughts where I think, like any parent, you worry about things. And I've tried to do some therapy around that where,
Yeah.
I visualize good thing, like the moment I'm walking my daughter down the aisle or something. And
Yeah.
if that happens, so I try to visualize those things when I have those other intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
So I'll have to think about that. And
Sure. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if we do this podcast again sometime, I'll
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
answer for you.
Well, I mean, to
Yeah.
me, man, that just communicates you take protecting your children very seriously. You take
Yeah.
being like knowing what might be coming their way, you take seriously. You're not just like, I don't
Mhm.
know if they get they get an Instagram. You're like, no, people are miserable on it. I know what monsters exist out there. And it's that
Mhm.
constant balance of like, how do I let you know what the world is like, but also how the hell do I keep the world from you? Because it might destroy you because the world doesn't really care. The world doesn't give a shit. So how do I protect you, but also that trying to figure out as your kids get older how to introduce them to like failure and what the world actually is. I I'll let you know if I ever figure it out because I don't feel like I do it well at all. So
Well, I don't know if anybody does.
I don't think so. But also good to be aware of what your anxiety is because I think that's what most of us is like. Oh, this makes me anxious as hell. I should probably go see a therapist and see if I can have it make me just anxious and not anxious as hell instead.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, but yeah, man, you'll figure it out. We'll have you back on just for that moment for you to be like, hey, I stopped being so worried about everything and I figured out something. Here we go.
I love it. We'll do an update one of these days.
Appreciate it. And then last thing is just a moment for self promotion. If we want to follow your Instagram, your music, how do we find out more about you? Website, all that good stuff.
Thanks, man. Yeah. My name's Tony Kamel, Kamel. It's spelled with a K, like the animal, but with a K. And it's Tony Kamel Music on all the socials and on Spotify. That's how you spell my name, Tony Kamel. I hope you listen. I got a record that came out in April. It's called We're All Gonna Live. I'm real proud of it, and I hope y'all check it out.
Yeah. Sweet. And so perfect, man. Well, hey, I'll let you get back to your day. Good luck quoting people for painting and all that good stuff. And congrats on the second kid whenever he gets here.
Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Great.
Perfect. Nice to meet you too. See you, Tony. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to go to neverafacенetwork.com to learn more about them.